When a narcissistic father raises a daughter to become his surrogate spouse, it doesn't look obvious at first. It happens slowly, under the disguise of closeness, responsibility, and specialness. The child doesn't realize she is being groomed. She just knows she is needed. So he positions her not as a daughter, but as his emotional support system. I'm not talking about his daughter becoming his company in the absence of a real partner or the mother of his daughter. Hello, my name is Alexandra Polino, and I'm a narcissistic abuse recovery practitioner. And in this podcast, I'm talking about how a narcissistic father turns his daughter into his surrogate partner. And how does this affect his daughter? What I'm referring to here happens while the mother is present, so she still is in the picture. And in this discussion, the daughter is not replacing an absent partner or parent. She is being positioned skillfully against her mother. So what does the narcissistic father do? He props up his daughter to become the one who listens to him, the one who understands, and the one who is different from her mother. And this is where the confusion begins. He confides in her about adult matters that do not belong to a child. He tells her his grievances, his disappointments, and his emotional pain. He often speaks badly about her mother. It's subtle at first, then more openly, turning the child into a silent witness, a secret keeper, and sometimes even an ally. The daughter is made to feel responsible for his feelings, his moods. So if he is sad, she feels she has failed. If he is angry, she feels she must fix it. If he is lonely, she feels obligated to stay. And this is not love. This is emotional enmeshment. And over time, he grooms his daughter into roles she never consented to. So she becomes his confidant, his therapist, his emotional regulator, sometimes even his secretary, his housekeeper, his organizer, basically the woman who holds everything together. Meanwhile, the mother is quietly dismantled. The narcissistic father often devalues the mother in front of the child. He corrects, lectures, and even shames the mother while the daughter is present. This undermines the mother's authority, sometimes with a smile and sometimes with cruelty, but always with intent. The daughter learns without words that loyalty to her father requires emotional distance from her mother. She is triangulated with her mother, pulled into adult dynamics she cannot process, and forced to choose sides she should never have been asked to. And in many cases, the mother becomes alienated from her own child, not because she failed, but because the narcissist needed control, worship, and loyalty. The daughter is then pressured to become the woman he can control, the one who never leaves him, the one who stays emotionally available, the one who does not challenge him, and the one who exists to soothe his fragile ego. And beneath all this is a terrifying unspoken rule. What he's saying underneath it all, your value comes from what you provide to me. The long-term impact on his daughter is profound. She often grows up hyper-responsible, emotionally overdeveloped, and yet deeply disconnected from her own needs. She learns to scan others for emotional cues, to manage moods, to confuse caretaking with love. As an adult, she may feel drawn to narcissists, emotionally unavailable partners, or people who need saving. She may struggle with boundaries and with guilt when she chooses herself, and with the belief that love must be earned through sacrifice. To the daughter, intimacy becomes a burden. Closeness is learned through responsibility, not reciprocity. She learns intimacy means carrying someone else, and leaving emotionally or physically feels like betrayal to her, even when staying is destroying her. This dynamic is not a flaw in his daughter. It's a trauma bond forged in childhood. A narcissistic father does not see his daughter as a separate being with her own emotional life. He sees her as an extension of himself, a source of regulation, a mirror, a possession. And breaking free from this role later in life often comes with grief, anger, and deep identity work, because she was never allowed to simply be a child. This dynamic is not about blame, it's about truth. Because what was framed as closeness was actually control. What was framed as loyalty was actually conditioning. And what was framed as love was a child being asked to meet needs that were never hers to carry. If this resonates with you, know this. You were not mature for your age, you were overburdened. You were groomed into emotional labor that wasn't yours to carry. But now, as an adult, you're allowed to choose, to reclaim your life, your boundaries, and your sense of self. That's why I created Ashes to Gold, my narcissistic abuse recovery program. This work is about untangling a trauma bond formed in childhood, reclaiming your emotional autonomy, and learning how to relate without self-abandonment. You don't heal this by trying harder. You heal it by understanding what happened, where it lodged on your nervous system, and how to safely release it. Book your free narcissistic abuse recovery consultation today at thefearlessninja.com. Thank you for listening.